Well, welcome back in. That was quick. I mean, those 30-second breaks are just super quick.
They fly by here on Toyota Sports Extra, and we're so excited to have in studio for the first time, hopefully of many times to come, Brendan Nunez. Now, if you're not familiar with all of his work, it's going to take me almost this entire segment to share with you all the stuff that he does and all the areas that he works. But he's most known for the Kings Pulse podcast, which he hosts. He's featured on the Kings Beat podcast with James Ham and Sean Cunningham. You can catch him on Kings Herald, writing articles over there and providing content over there. You're everywhere, Brendan, and now you're here in the ABC 10 studios to talk about the Sacramento Kings on the, hopefully, eve of clinching the playoffs for the first time. First off, thanks for joining us. And second off, am I alone in rooting for the Timberwolves to actually lose, or rather win tonight, so the Kings could clinch tomorrow, or were you feeling that same vibe?
First of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate you, Matt and Kevin. And I don't think you're alone. I think it's hard to not feel that way, right? Of course, the players are going to downplay it. We've known that this team is going to end the drought for a while now, but still the confirmation of it actually happening, that final moment, I think is so important, and experiencing that in front of the fans that went through these past 16 years is just so crucial. I think the environment in that building is going to be phenomenal, and with us being there tomorrow, I was very actively rooting for tomorrow to be the night.
You know, I'm just going to, because since both of you guys are considerably younger than me, you know, you wouldn't tell, though. We all look the same age.
Well.
But give or take a year or two. But, Brendan, I just have to ask you, how old were you the last time the Kings made the playoffs, and do you even remember anything from then?
I was 6.
Oh, my goodness.
7. I do not remember much. Admittedly, was probably more of a We Believe Warriors guy for a little while.
Get this guy outta here.
All right, and that is Brendan's time, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be right
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, and I'm glad that I do get to now experience this team. It's been an extremely special season. Yeah. You know, I don't think anybody expect them to be in the position that they currently are now, and now anything from here on out is a plus, but they're in a position to even do more than clinch tomorrow night.
I think a lot of us are proceeding with the expectation that they are going to get it done tomorrow. And look, I believe, like, in sports stories seem to always work out in a way that it sounds like they're written, but you can't write it. It's just that good. It happens time and time again in sports. So we have a perfect table set for this dream scenario where the Kings clinch in front of their home crowd, a sellout crowd inside of the Golden One Center. But that being said, we saw what the Timberwolves did tonight. They have Karl-Anthony Towns back. They're back to full strength. This is a team that typically gives the Sacramento Kings nightmares, not to mention Anthony Edwards loves playing in Sacramento because he always seems to ball out in Sacramento. So there's no reason to believe that this is going to be an easy test for the Kings, even if the expectation should be they're going to win.
I think you have a great point, Matt. I think everybody's talking about tomorrow like it's a guarantee, and I think it's far from it. The Timberwolves are a good team. They're rolling right now. Just got Karl-Anthony Towns back. The Kings are 1-2 against this team on the year, and their only win was an overtime game that took everything you could get out of De'Aaron Fox. Timberwolves are 7-5 on a second night of a back-to-back. They've done decent. As you pointed out earlier, the Kings kind of tend to struggle in that situation as well, and length has been the thing that bothers the Kings. And obviously you got Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, but I think it goes beyond that. I think Jaden McDaniels is phenomenal, and he's done a good job on De'Aaron Fox in the past. So tomorrow night has the potential to be big, but it is far from a guarantee.
Well, and speaking of De'Aaron Fox too, really quick, sorry, Kevin, we don't know if De'Aaron's going to be playing or not. He missed last game. He exited a couple of games ago in the third quarter with hamstring soreness. Now, Mike Brown did give us the good news that he would have played if he had the choice, but it was Mike Brown's decision to kind of save him and be precautionary. Now, of course, hamstrings are no joke, especially on a player who uses his legs as much as De'Aaron Fox does. But pure speculation at this point. I'm sure we'll find out more at shoot-around tomorrow, which Brendan and I will both be at. But I have to imagine, knowing what's at stake, De'Aaron Fox is going to be playing tomorrow.
I think so, but you have to play it safe. They're going to clinch the postseason no matter what. Like, as much as tomorrow is setting up to be a great storyline, if there's anything lingering for De'Aaron, I think that you do have to play it safe. Like you said, hamstrings can be tricky, and tomorrow can be a big moment, but the more important thing is that this is clinching the postseason, and you still want to be able to do something there. You don't want to put any sort of risk towards that. So I would love for De'Aaron to be available. I'm sure that he would love the same. And if he can, I'm sure he'll be out there, but you don't want to push it.
Right.
Well, things are always better when you have the clutchiest player in the game. I don't even know if that's a word.
It might be.
But if you have the according to the Ebonics dictionary of Kevin, but if you have the most clutch player out there in the fourth quarter, obviously that does change the dynamic. Now, Brendan, you were talking about the depth of the Timberwolves and all the pieces around them. When I look at this Kings team, and since we already said we know they're going to clinch a playoff spot, it's more of a matter of when versus if. But when they do clinch that playoff spot, and when they do get into the playoffs, when you look at this roster and all the pieces that they have, one of their main pieces and new pieces this year, obviously because he's a rookie, is Keegan Murray. And Keegan Murray is also on the brink of breaking Donovan Mitchell's three-point record for the most threes in a game. He's shooting the ball extremely well. Defensively, though, he's been targeted on defense. And you wonder when you look at this roster, are the Kings built for a deep playoff run? Not just necessarily with Keegan Murray. I mean, he's a part of it, but with everyone else.
I do think Keegan Murray is a big X factor. Obviously, you know what he brings offensively. He's 3 away from breaking that record, and you can legitimately call it the best shooting season from an NBA rookie of all time, which is phenomenal to say that Sacramento was able to get that. But I think defensively, he is an X factor for them. You saw in that game against the Phoenix Suns, he got a foul 30 minutes into the game. He gets pulled pretty quick because of foul trouble. But then on the other side, you see the game against Utah. He doesn't pick up his first foul until 2 minutes left in the game. But whatever series they go into, there's tough matchups sitting there for him. They're going to ask a lot. If it's the Phoenix Suns, it's going to be Devin Booker. If it's the Clippers, it's going to be Paul George if he's available. If it's the Warriors, I would expect Klay Thompson. If it's the Minnesota Timberwolves, we've seen him on Anthony Edwards. Those are tough asks. And a lot of it has to do with maybe Sacramento doesn't have a better option, but the coaching staff has faith in him. Rookies tend to have a little bit of a learning curve, and we've seen that with Keegan, but I think his defense is a big X factor for this team.
Well, we talk about a dream scenario for tomorrow night. Not only could the Sacramento Kings clinch with a win, Keegan Murray could break that record with 4 3-pointers. He needs 3 to tie, 4 to make. And he had 6, the other night? So Keegan's more than capable of hitting 4.5, let alone an entire game. But you called him an X factor. I've had conversations with a couple of people outside of Sacramento who are watching the Kings, and 2 different people now have told me that they think that Kevin Huerter is a major X factor for this team. And if you look at the stretches where the Sacramento Kings have had the most success or looked at their best and sharpest offensively, Kevin Huerter's typically had good games. And it's not just him exploding from the three-point line, which we know he can do, and he's done so recently. It's him tallying assists. It's him grabbing rebounds. He had 9 boards in these last couple of games, both games. So Kevin Huerter, how much of an impact do you think he has on the success of how deep the Kings can go in the postseason?
I think the offense, you do have to start there. Like you said, he does more than that, but just how productive he's been on that end and just the ability to totally take over a quarter and a game, really. We saw a 29-point performance the other night. I believe it was 26 most recently, and he's shooting lights out recently. 17-plus points per game on upwards of 40% post All-Star break. He's been phenomenal there, but doing everything. Rebounding has been a very big thing that the coaching staff has been wanting to get from him, and they've started to get that. I think the playmaking that you get from him has been extremely important, especially when De'Aaron Fox is not available or not out there. And his finishing, he's finishing at a career high rate this year, and I think a lot of that has to do with Domantas Sabonis being able to set him up as well.
Oh, yeah, De'Aaron's a walking bucket in the fourth quarter. So we've already talked about the impact of Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray being the X factor, Domantas Sabonis and what he brings, obviously De'Aaron Fox clutch, but the mastermind behind this whole successful Kings and the leading candidate for Coach of the Year, obviously, in Mike Brown, who won a championship last year with the Golden State Warriors. It seems like he's not only really got this team to buy in and to believe in themselves, but he's completely built a culture and instilled this winning culture within the Sacramento Kings franchise that I haven't seen, at least since I've been covering the team the last couple of years.
The big thing that stands out to me is accountability.
And
everybody knows their role and is held accountable. Last night we saw, for example, Chimezie Metu maybe step outside of his role a little bit, and Mike Brown has no hesitation to have a conversation with him and then maybe pull away his minutes when he feels need be. And I think that the players understand where he's coming from. That's not taken personally because everybody knows we are all working towards the same goal here. And I think that he's done a great job in instilling that with his entire roster. And he gives a lot of credit to the rest of his coaching staff. So I want to make sure to do the same. You know, Jordy Fernandez, Jay Triano, Luke Laux, like you could go down the line, Lindsey Harding. He has a phenomenal staff that he's built around him, which is also credit to Mike Brown and the respect that he has in this league that he was able to build that staff.
Well, in my mind, Mike Brown is an absolute lock for Coach of the Year, and you have to take it in the context of how there have been 11 guys before Mike Brown since Rick Adelman who have not been able to get it done, and it took Mike Brown less than a year to have this quick of a turnaround that nobody expected. But maybe a little more debatable, Brendan, is the All-NBA honors for both Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Now, I don't think you can pick 3 centers in the league that are better than Domantas Sabonis. I think he's at least going to be All-NBA third team. De'Aaron Fox is a little more difficult, despite the fact that he's the best player on a really, really good team. There's so many great guards putting up great numbers in this league that maybe that's a little more muddied. What do you think about both their chances to be all NBA players?
I do think Domantas Sabonis should absolutely be there. I do have a growing worry that some people are going to have a conversation with themselves, though. I think Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are easily there.
Yep.
Anthony Davis has played all of his minutes at center this year, and he's played significantly less games than Domantas Sabonis. I think that Domas should absolutely be the lock there. Even if you want to point at, like, Anthony Davis scores more, Domantas Sabonis generates more points with his assists. I think he's right around 4.5 more assists per game as well, and he's more efficient than Anthony Davis. So I think it should be there. Some people will throw Bam Adebayo in there, but I think that should easily be Domantas Sabonis. The more interesting conversation to me is De'Aaron Fox. There are so many talented guards in the entire NBA. You could look at Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell. It'll be interesting to see if Jaylen Brown is categorized as a guard or a forward. I think that's going to be big. Damian Lillard, it's the 13th seed, but he's putting up 32 points a game. Can you overlook that? So the clutch stats are absolutely going to be the argument for De'Aaron, and I think he's right on the fringe. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
Well, real quick, before we wrap this up, I want to throw the question out to both of you. Of the teams that are in the area, which team do you want or would you pick for the Sacramento Kings to face in the opening round if you had your choice?
Have them face the LA Lakers in the first round. We know LA may not even make it in there. Have them face the Lakers. It's been their arch nemesis, their rival for however many long. Have them face the Lakers in the first round and sweep them. And that would be ideal for most Kings fans.
My previous answer was the Dallas Mavericks, but they've been struggling. I think they're sitting at 13 now. I think I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. I know that there's a big difference in postseason experience, but if there's no Andrew Wiggins, we've seen a lot of struggles from the Warriors, and I have to say there's not very many good options, to be honest. I'm not taking the Phoenix Suns. The Clippers I hesitate with, so I will hesitantly pick the Golden State Warriors.
What about you, Matt?
You know what? Give me the Minnesota Timberwolves or somebody different. I want to go somewhere. I don't want to see any California teams. We're enough of California. Let's get someone else in here and see how the Sacramento Kings can do. But Brendan, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you for joining us. We'll have to absolutely do it again. Check out all the great work that he does over on the Kings Pulse podcast and the smitten of others or smattery of others or whatever the word is of all the great stuff that you do.